All right, family, let's jump right in. Dear Dr. Dandridge, I'm 39 years old and I still owe over $60,000 in student loans. I've been paying for 15 years and the number barely moves. Every time I make a payment, I grieve the life I thought I'd have by now: the home, the travel, the sense of freedom. Instead, I feel chained to a system that promised opportunity but delivered debt. It's hard to explain this kind of grief because it's invisible. No one sees it, but it's always there. How do I find peace in a world where financial freedom feels like a fantasy? Wow, thank you so much for writing in. Um, I think that this is a conversation that a lot of us need to be having, especially with people who are half your age. You say that you're 39, $60,000 in debt, still paying it off, doesn't seem as though it's moving. You have probably been going through this level of grief for quite some time. I know a lot of students, when they graduate from college, they have this expectation that they're going to get a job paying six figures. They're going to get PTO benefits and health benefits and pensions. And they really do promise the world to a lot of our students. I'll be very honest with you. When I graduated from Morehouse College back in 2007, my heart sunk the very first student loan payment that I got. Not because of the amount that I was paying, that $100, $200 when you're first getting out of college, but looking at the balance that I had accumulated over 4 years at a private HBCU was absolutely horrifying. There are so many people who are just like you, who are at your age at 39, who are double your age at still 60, still paying off student loans, and that are even half your age inside of their 20s that really do feel as though they have been bamboozled by the education system. And I'm not here to get inside of the politics of what that system looks like, but the truth is that a lot of graduates experience grief after graduating. You walk across the stage and everyone's happy, everyone is joyous, everyone is like, you did it, you got the degree, you're going to get the job, you're going to make the money. And then years down the line, just like you said inside of your letter, I've been paying for 15 years and the number barely moves. Every time I make a payment, I grieve the life I thought I'd have by now. A lot of people truly do grieve that postgraduate lifestyle because we're told, let's just be honest, we are told, go to school, get a degree, and all these great things will happen. And for some people, it does happen. But for the vast majority of graduate students, the truth of the matter is that it does not. So there's a couple of things that I want to give you as a couple of tips that I believe can help you inside of these up and coming years as you're paying down this debt. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is to name the loss and not just talk about the loan. You led inside of your letter with the fact that you owed $60,000 in student loans. I really want you to sit for a minute. As a matter of fact, grab a piece of paper, write it down. All the things that you really do feel as though you have lost because of accumulating this debt. You kind of alluded to it. You said, the home, the travel, the sense of freedom. But I really want you to be specific about what that lifestyle you imagined to look like post graduating. So write down that you expected to have a $500,000 home or being able to afford a $500,000 home with your family. Write down that you expected to be able to do some international traveling or even some local traveling. You might not be able to afford even local travels now with your student loan payments. This sense of freedom, the fact that as soon as you're graduating, you're getting a bill from your institution on top of, let's just be honest, you get the bill from the institution saying that you owe them for your tuition. You get the bill from Sally Mae or Freddie Mac saying that you owe them for the loan. Then you get another call from your institution asking you for money for the Alumni Association. It's just like, can you catch a financial break? So I really want you to name the loss and not just the loan. Because a lot of us, we do get stuck on the number. Get stuck on, I owe $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. We get stuck on the number and we don't get a chance to truly name what we are grieving because of this accumulated debt. The second thing I want you to do is to separate your worth from your wallet. One of the things that I hear a lot of students and graduates talk about is the fact that they feel as though they've accumulated this dollar amount. Your dollar amount is $60,000. And this dollar amount, you have now some kind of way attached to your worth, your identity, your career aspirations, your family aspirations, even your post academic aspirations, just in case, all of this is from a bachelor's degree and you want to do a master's or a doctoral degree, but you're like, you don't want to accumulate any debt. Debt is a situation, it is not a character trait. So if you are a current student right now, if you are a post student, if you are a graduate and if you're a graduate and you have accumulated this debt and now you're getting this bill, do not associate your debt with your worth. Now, I can go into this with regards to all kinds of debt. I mean, you got credit card debt, housing debt, you've got car loan debt. I mean, debt, like I said, is a situation. It is not a character trait. The truth of the matter is that no one knows how much you owe except for you. I can even speak from personal experience. When I graduated from Morehouse and I went on and got my master's degree and also my doctorate degree, the amount of debt that I had, you would not even have thought it by the way that I presented myself inside of the world. You would have thought that I had gotten this education and had went on scholarships and things were just, running how they were running and all was well. But the fact of the matter is that I was drowning in debt. And to be quite frank, if it were not for government assistance programs and student loan forgiveness, I did not see an end inside of my personal student loan debt. But the truth is that when you walk with a certain level of value, when you walk with a certain level of integrity, when you walk with a certain level of confidence, even with this level of debt hanging over your head, you begin to attract a certain level of worth and finances towards your life and even opportunity. So, to bring it home, the last thing that I want you to consider doing to manage this season of your life is to create one small reclaiming step. Find a small win with your student loan debt, and that will help your grief inside of this season. So, whether it's an income based payment plan, whether it's a student loan forgiveness program, whether it's connecting with an organization or even a job or a corporation that will pay off your student loans after a certain number of years. Find some type of win with your student loans so that this season doesn't feel as heavy a burden as it is. And the second that you do that, you'll begin to see your grief begin to subside because at the end of the day, you'll have a little bit more hope for what your life and what your path, what your travel, what your career, what your family, what your finances will look like inside of the future. So I hope that this information has been insightful and that it helps you along with others out here who might feel themselves drowning inside of student loan debt. Again, know that you need to name your loss, not just your loan. Separate yourself and your worth from this loan because your worth is not connected to your wallet. And then just create the small wins. Create something small, do something with your student loans that will give you a little bit of confidence and a little bit of hope for your future. Okay. Thank you again for joining me at my desk. I'm Dr. Dandridge. This has been Designing Your Goodbyes, and I will see you all inside of the next conversation. Okay. It's going to be right here. I promise you, as soon as you click on that tab, that video, I'll be right there to welcome you. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Okay.